Yes, yes, yes. Welcome back, Tom. I feel like I've spoken to you a few times now, so yeah, it's nice to be connecting again.
It's been a while. It's been a while since we were online together.
Yeah, and in real life as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I just wanted to have a call with you and speak about the I Ching because we did some readings together. I know it's something that you're very it's quite close to you. And
Mm.
the readings that I've had as well, they've always been just so accurate and like so straight to the point. So I was kind of thinking it would be cool maybe to do like a overall reading for this period of time.
Mm.
But I will let you speak a bit about your relationship to it and why it's so beneficial for us.
Okay, great. Well, look, this is the first time I've ever chatted about the I Ching on
Yes.
on a video call. But I'm very happy to do it. I don't think
Love
many
that.
people really know a lot about it. Firstly, the pronunciation. I think I pronounced it wrong. I think it's called the I Ching. I call it the I Ching. But I don't think many people know about it, and I think there's a lot of mystery about it. So, from what I understand, it's one of the oldest books in existence. It's so old that it's not. It's actually written in code, and the code is the 64 hexagrams. So the 64 hexagrams are each hexagrams consists of 6 lines, and those 6 lines are a mixture of yin and yang lines. So a yang line is a long line and a yin line is 2 short lines. And the idea is that each individual hexagram documents a particular type of change. And the I Ching is essentially a map of the 64 different types of change in nature. So when we look at nature, nature is always evolving, it's always transforming. It's never stationary. Even, for example, even in winter, when none of the flowers look like they're growing underneath the surface, the seeds are sprouting and you can't see them yet, but they're there. And even in a river that is stagnant or becomes blocked, and it might look stagnant, there's still a deeper process that's unfolding. We just can't see it we can't see it with the human eye. So the I Ching kind of documents the 64 different types of change, and it's mapped, it's based on nature. So we don't really know where it came from. Obviously, it's a Taoist kind of tool and book, but ultimately, its origins we don't really know. But we do know it's one of the oldest books in existence, and so it's modeled on nature, and in some respects obviously we are a part of nature ourselves, right? It's easy
Yeah.
for human beings to think we're kind of separate to it, but the I Ching
Yes.
kind of talks about the fact that we are nature. So understanding our nature and understanding the different
Mm.
types of change helps us to live a more enjoyable, meaningful and purposeful life. Um, so that is the basic model of the I Ching, and the I Ching is all about us. I'm just going to carry on talking, by the way, and then you can.
Yeah, yeah, go for
I don't want to
it.
hold the mic, but the I Ching is all about helping us to live the superior way. So there's the superior way, and there's the inferior way. And the inferior way is a way that is modeled on our lower nature, our primal nature, our reactive mind, our sort of pain body, our conditioned, um, sort of compulsive way of living, versus our higher nature, which is more intuitive, which is non attached, which is more connected to our higher self. And they call this the superior way. So, for all of us in each of our own lives, there is a superior way that we can live, and there is an inferior way. And ultimately, the I Ching is essentially like a guide here to help us live the
Mm,
superior way. And that's how I relate to the I Ching. I relate to it like a wise sage,
yes. Yeah, it really is.
right? A wise sage that basically really does have all the answers. It doesn't necessarily give us the answers that we want. It doesn't necessarily give us the answers that are like really juicy, but a
Yeah.
lot of the answers that are most meaningful and helpful are actually quite subtle. And people have different understanding of how it works, but many people feel like they're communicating with their higher self when they
Yeah,
communicate
yeah.
with the I Ching. And the more you do it, the more you kind of feel connected to that inner voice that kind of knows the
Mm,
truth. And it's not a loud voice; it's kind of a subtle voice, and it's there. But I find that when you connect with that voice, there's like a bell or a sense of alignment with the truth, the inner truth.
yeah, it makes sense. I didn't know that about the superior and the inferior, but
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense. And I think sometimes when I've gone had like a reading, then it's just that reminder of the superior way. Like you said, it's just like this constant reminder. All of these things don't matter, you know.
Hmm.
Goes to the truth, straight to the truth. Yeah.
It's very
Mm.
direct,
Yeah.
and it always asks you to look back at yourself, and it is undoubtedly a teacher for us, but it does give different. A lot of the answers it gives you don't necessarily want to hear,
Yeah.
because it helps you to navigate your ego, and the
Yes.
ego drives. And obviously, that is the lower nature, the lower way is honoring kind of the compulsions of our ego.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the I Ching is kind of like a system for helping to navigate and transform that. So a lot of the advice and guidance that the I Ching gives is very paradoxical to what we might not. A lot of its advice is to do nothing,
Okay.
stand back, to withhold yourself, to restrain yourself, to wait. And
Mm.
it's in that waiting that we stop trying to do stuff ourselves, because the
Mm.
I Ching is talking about that's that ego of yours which is trying to do everything. And when we're engaged with that, we're stopping the higher self from unfolding and transforming and doing what it does.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
So
it's
true.
it's very powerful. And that's just incredible, the idea of waiting, but waiting in the right way, as opposed to holding your breath waiting,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
or as opposed to waiting for better times or whatever. So,
Yes.
so the I Ching talks a lot about mastering the art of waiting.
Waiting. I love that. Yes.
And in doing
Yeah. I
that, in
remember.
waiting, what we do is we access the higher power.
Mm.
Like, we allow things to happen. We create space for things to happen. Whereas the ego wants to solve the problem now. It wants to
Yeah.
sort things out now. It doesn't want there to be any ambiguity, any uncertainty. It wants everything to be resolved.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so
Yeah.
that's our
Yeah.
compulsion to kind of constantly do that.
Yeah. Definitely. I remember reading this quote before. It was like talking about patience. It's not just about waiting; it's what you do in the waiting. Exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
How did you come into this discovery as well of this ancient? You had to have
I
this.
think I just enjoyed, the I Ching is also a divination tool, which means you can
Yeah.
ask it questions. It can be a wisdom book that you just read, and it can be a guide for life, or you can interact with it and you can ask questions by tossing coins and getting answers. And I think I
Mhm.
started doing it and I just had some fabulous answers. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, how is this even working?
Yes.
Just the
Yes.
best answers, like so specific and
Yeah.
so exact and so
Yeah.
helpful. And when you get the answer, there's a sort of a release in your body. You're a bit like, oh, yeah, that's right. It's returned me. It's kind of like returns you to the way. And the I Ching is all about the way,
Yeah.
the path, the journey. And that's a very Taoist idea, right? The way
Yes, it's
and
true.
being in that sort of flow state. So I think I just got into it because I was interested. It gave me good answers. And I think I've been through a lot of kind of personal challenges and health challenges and physical and mental suffering. So I think it was just a friend and a guide to
Mm,
help me walk the path. I think, like all things, it's easy to get kind of a bit addicted to it, to getting answers. And I think in all these systems, whether it's astrology or tarot or the I Ching, it's easy for us to get hooked on answers. And the I Ching very clearly will tell you to stop asking. Like
yeah,
you
that's
ask too
interesting.
much. You, it'll be like a school teacher or a wise master who say, "Okay, look, you know the answer now. You
Yes.
already heard it."
Mm.
But we don't want to hear it, do we?
But
Or some people
yes,
don't.
yes.
We're not ready to hear it, or the ego wants another result.
Mm,
So I think I just had a lot of personal value, and I love wisdom, and it just seems a fun way to learn wisdom by applying it and asking questions of your own life. It's a great
mm,
kind of dynamic. I find it entertaining.
mm.
It's
Yeah, yeah. I get
entertaining.
it's kind of a bit like astrology in that way, I think.
It is entertaining, and I think we are on this path of individuation or of ascension. And I think a lot of the time it's difficult to know how to walk the path. What are the right steps for us
Mhm.
to take? How should I face this? In tarot, they call it the fool's journey.
Yeah.
And the fool's journey is that journey that we all go on through the different steps. And the I Ching, when I do my I Ching readings, I kind of think like I'm walking along a path and there's something in front of me going on. And I'm like, how do I go about navigating this? Why is this here? How do I deal with it? And the I Ching always gives me like good answers.
Mm.
Although I think, as I said, I've had to lay off it a bit. Like I probably just do it. I maybe do a couple of readings a week now, one reading a week.
Okay.
But that's probably too much for me.
Interesting.
But a lot
Yeah.
of people, you could just do a reading every day, right? You could do, okay, give me a vibe for the day.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Love
It doesn't
that.
have to be. But I think there are certain situations that we get hooked on.
Yes, yes, yes,
Like
yes.
it could be a relationship situation, it could be a work situation, it could be a personal compulsion that we're struggling with.
Yeah.
And
Or
then it's
like a
easy.
big lesson. It's
Yeah.
gonna take a little bit to unravel, you know. Yeah.
And
So did you watch?
it also doesn't always give you answers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you know when the answer's not right as well. You know when it's speaking to you and you know when it's not.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's very interesting.
So I've got I picked out some favorite hexagrams of mine.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear, do you want to hear about a few of them?
Yeah. So are these ones that you came up when you were using it,
They've
or just when you were reading?
hexagrams that came up when I used them,
Yeah.
for sure. But also, I think a lot of these hexagrams are just they're helpful for us to go back to
Oh, okay, fine.
as just um, just to help deepen our wisdom.
Okay.
Like for example, there's a hexagram called penetration, and penetration talks a lot about the way that in nature over time change can happen very slowly, like the way that a river erodes a rock, the way that wind over time erodes materials, but it can take tens of years. But it's that slow transformation or that slow shift in things that, as human beings, because we're very quick thinking, we're so quick to judge, we're so quick to jump to conclusions, and that message is telling you, pause. Transformation is happening. It's not happening in the way that you want or you want to see it, but it's there nonetheless, and it's happening a lot slower than you see. I just think I think that for me, that's a great lesson.
Yeah.
Because
Big
it can be
one.
so quick to judge. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you were saying at the beginning about the ego and just wanting to create something, and then it's just like, hang on a minute. It is happening. Hello.
yeah, it is exactly. Another one of my favorite ones is shocking. It's called shocking. And shocking is the energy of lightning. It's like a
Mm.
lightning bolt, like, and lightning bolt is designed to wake you up.
Mm.
But when shocking, something is shocking, it wakes you up from your slumber, from your sleep. And in life, we can have all kinds of things that are shocking, that are just, it can be a health
Mm.
problem, it can be a relationship breakup, it can be anything that kind of
Accident.
just, what's that?
An accident or injury.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
in nature, there is a reason for that. It's this shocking energy. Like it's necessary. So you're gonna
I think
sneeze.
I'm gonna sneeze. Yeah, I was like, it's coming, but not.
Yeah. So
It's
this
interesting. I was
shocking.
just talking to a friend the other day about this. Like every single accident and injury we have, there's like a reason. And then this other um, woman that was this video I watched, Alan Clark, she was explaining like sometimes you need that for the like energy of your body to like open up and to, you know, it's like it's so interesting to think of it like that. Like it's all intentional.
Very much so. So you have all of these different. There's a hexagram called conflict, which helps you to understand that conflict out in the world or in your relationships is to do with conflict in yourself.
Ooh.
And that's hit me a lot of time over the years. It's easy to point our finger at our partner, but the I Ching will always return you to yourself. Find the conflict in you, and
Mm,
what's in the external is just a mirror of the internal.
mm,
Um, there's a lot in the I Ching about obstacles. There's a hexagram for obstruction. There's a hexagram for for obstacle. There's also a hexagram called the abyss, one of my favorites.
I bet.
But the abyss is, we've all been in the abyss. Well, maybe we haven't all been in the abyss, but the abyss is not a nice place.
Mm,
But then there's also important um, aspects about being able to face the abyss and the type of transformation that happens in that space.
yeah.
Um, so all of these hexagrams are just they're a yin and a yang line, and each of them are just a particular reflection of nature. And it all begins with the two main ones. You've got the creative number one, which is 6 yang lines. That's the masculine creative power of the universe. And then number two is 6 yin lines, and that's the
Wow.
feminine. And the
Yeah.
feminine is 6 yin lines. The feminine is the valley. The feminine receives, right? So the masculine goes out and creates, but the feminine is the receiver. And so those are two key archetypes for us to learn and master. And they're very beautiful things to learn and discover.
Mm. Nice. Thank you for sharing some of those.
Does all that make does all that make sense?
Yeah, it all makes sense. It's very cool. I like about the masculine and the feminine because this is like the energetics of creation. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Oh, it's all
ancient.
there.
It's
It's
all
all there. And
there.
if you were a physicist or a mathematician, they go into all of the similarities between the I Ching and DNA and the 64 hexagrams. I mean, you can go as deep as you like. There's a lot of natural um, um, sort of universal laws,
Yeah, yeah.
universal mathematics laws in the 64 in the
And that
64
correlating.
hexagrams.
Interesting.
Um, I'm just quickly looking through one of my favorite books. This is a great recommendation, A Guide to the I Ching by Carol Anthony. Um, the I Ching is just a code. So whenever you read about it, you're always going to be reading people's commentary on it, right? So there'll be different commentators because it's written in
Mm.
these hexagram codes. People are going to write what those codes mean,
Ah, okay.
right? So it's interpretation. So there's always going to be a commentary on something. And I think one of the key lessons of the I Ching is always to cling to your inner self, your inner truth, your inner wisdom, your inner voice.
Yeah.
And is that constant clinging, that inner clinging, because as most human beings do, is they cling out there.
Oh,
We
that's
cling to the
so true.
external.
And you know what? Especially now, you know, especially now, this is so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, we cling to the external. And when we cling to the external, our life is crazy,
Yes. And it's
right?
very easy to do that.
It's very easy to do that. That's right. It's very easy. And the ego wants to do that. That it's
Yes.
like the external is the ego's security blanket.
I
You know, it
mean,
keeps
this is
us
something
safe,
that,
it keeps us comfortable, it's familiar.
yes.
And
Yeah,
and it's
this,
listening.
yeah, yeah.
Go on.
This is something came up in this panel talk that I did in December about mastering your vibration and frequency. So, and we were just basically discussing how actually the next step now is to be able to not rely so heavily on the external world and rather rely more on your internal world as like as what you see in the world, you know?
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah, very good. So there's a hexagram, it's hexagram 61, it's called inner truth. So
Yes.
that is a hexagram specifically about this topic of of your inner truth. And there's always this battle between
Yeah.
the compulsions of the ego and honoring our inner truth. And the more we can live aligned with our inner truth, the more we step on the way and the more we access our higher power or the higher power to work through us. So
Yeah.
the less we try and do it manually, like our little self,
Yeah.
the less we try and do that and the more we sort of step into our inner truth, the better. So there's another hexagram called limitation. And a lot of the
Yeah.
time, limitation will happen. I mean, this whole reality is limitation. But a lot of the time, limitation will happen in our life to help us connect more with our inner truth. So it's very aligned with this future we're living into. And in
Mm-hmm.
some respects, we could say that the I Ching provides a perfect guide to helping us live into that future.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like that's exactly it. You know, as we were discussing in the panel discussion, it's like the more of us start to take responsibility with going inwards, and you know, the more the world is going to start changing outwards. And this is just what the I think is always directing back to. That's what it, you know, the essence of it.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
So you can see why, I think it's so cool. And I'm surprised not more people know about it.
I know. That's yeah, totally. So, are you reading now the one about truth?
Yeah, I'm just reading. I'm just looking at all the different hexagrams, just getting all sorts of just seeing which ones are my favorite. Um, there's another one called retreat, knowing when to retreat.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I think that's so. All of them are based around not just actions, but do I move forward? Do I move backwards? Do I stay still? And how do I do those things?
yes. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, it makes
Um,
sense. So, should we try do a reading
yeah.
if it works?
Okay. Well, look, I was saying that generally speaking, the I Ching is a very personal thing, and what that basically means is that
Yeah,
it doesn't all it works for yourself. It generally won't work if you try and do a reading on someone else. People want to know, well, what's going on with other
yeah,
people, what are they thinking, what's going on. Those aren't intelligent questions. The I Ching would sort of scoff at those questions.
yeah, yeah,
It just won't answer them, or it
yeah.
will say, oh, this is I'm not going to answer it. Ask a better question, or instead of answer your question, it will answer a question that you haven't asked,
Oh, wow.
but
But
that would have been a better question to ask, and the answer will be about
uh,
you.
okay, and it resonates. You get it. Like, oh,
Yeah, you'll
wow.
resonate. You'll be like, oh my goodness. It'll be like, well, why are
Uh,
what is it that has you ask that question about them, and then it will deal with the reason you're asking. So that's really fun. But what we
yeah,
can do, yeah, let's do a reading. Let's see. As I
let's
said,
see.
we'll have to see how it responds, how the sage responds to doing a reading online.
Yeah, yeah, true.
What's our question? The question we had was, how do we want to be guided
Yeah,
going forwards? How can we deal with the challenges
and the changes. Yeah,
and the changes going forward over the next year? And when you talk about
yeah.
challenges, what specifically are you talking about? World events?
World events, exactly. So this is, I guess, for a lot of us who are on this path, yeah,
Okay. Okay, so a lot of the world challenges, a lot of the problems that are going on in the world right now, the war, government control, all the sort of the key issues, and also the awakening of humanity and
yeah,
transformation of life on Earth. How is there any advice it can give us?
yeah, exactly. More
Yeah. Okay.
control.
So I'm gonna.
Yeah.
There's three coins. There's head and tails, and we toss them 6 times. Each toss will give us a yin or a yang line.
Hmm.
Okay.
Let's
So let's
see.
just do it. Okay, so the first line is a yang line. Second is a yang line. It's yang line changing. So we've got 3 yang lines. There's a yang line changing. Yang line changing. Okay. So let's see. I'm just gonna take me a little time to work out what
Oh
hexagram
yeah,
it
what?
is.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so it's hexagram 43. So generally speaking, there's a really good website. I mean, as I said, you'll find different commentaries on different
Yeah,
websites, but in particular, Cafe or Soul is really good.
yeah.
So hexagram 43 is determination. That
Determination. Ooh.
oh
Oh. Yeah, right?
Determination. So,
I like that.
success comes when you untangle the knots and soften the glare. One of the most difficult lessons we learn in life is how to balance a resolute attitude of determination with the openness required to keep growing.
Mm,
Often, the obstacles that we face around us are merely showing us the condition of our inner world. In fact, obstacles only show themselves if we are looking for blockages.
wow.
I mean, that's pretty interesting, isn't it? Obstacles only
That's
show
very,
themselves if we are looking for blockages.
yes, again, the internal, like, yeah, learn how to master that.
I think as we evolve, it's a thing, isn't it, within the community to look for blockages in the
Yes,
system.
totally.
In the system.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yep. Oh my word, it's just
um,
such a plot twist.
um,
Yeah, if we are determined
yeah,
to see our success manifest, this commitment to vision is often all that is needed to obtain our desires. The commitment to vision.
yeah.
This is actually big. This has been coming up for me a lot.
What does that mean
uh,
for you? The commitment to vision.
Basically, I think, when we're thinking about this vision of new earth, like, that so many of us know is coming,
Hmm.
it's so easy to see the blockages and all these, the control and everything. But to commit yourself to the vision that you know in your heart and your deep
Hmm.
down, that you know that you're here to bring into the world, so much more than what we're seeing.
So good. This adds to it. However, we sometimes need to examine the story we tell ourselves. Is
Oh
life a
my
place to
days!
be feared? Is life a place to be feared, or is it a tapestry of
Tapestry
joy?
of joy. Oh my word.
Right.
That's
So
amazing.
what I'm getting from this is
Yeah, I was
that
going to ask you.
how do we see reality? Are we seeing it like this sort of terrible, terrible place, like with all of
Yes,
these problems? Are we actually seeing it as it truly is, which is a tapestry of joy?
tapestry of joy. Now, this is the difficult thing because, and this is where I think it's like we have to jump over the barrier of not relying on the external world because it's hard to do that, especially when we see all this stuff happening. How can we see it as a tapestry of joy? Hopefully, there's more here.
So, what is it that you are stalking?
Ooh, stalking.
Right.
That's
So,
a good word.
what is it that you are stalking? Imagine a hunter or someone hunting. They are stalking their prey. They are looking for something.
Yeah,
What is it you are looking for? Is it the proof that you can discover abundance, or is it the reinforcement of scarcity?
yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, man.
So that's the context. What is the context in which we are looking at life through?
Yeah, the lens.
What is the lens? Are we looking for problems? Are we looking for that? What are we
Yeah,
looking? Because we need to transform how we see.
100%. I love this. And also what you said in the community, a lot of the time we are looking for the blockages, we're looking for and it's all like quite disempowering, you know?
Right. So, in Gestalt psychology, which is one of the things I'm studying, is to do with the whole. And when we just see the blockage, we're only seeing a part. Like
Mm,
if you were to look at nature and you just see a part, like, oh look, that river's blocked over there, then you're just seeing a part of it. If you see like a load
yeah,
of dead animals over there, but you're missing the whole.
Yeah.
And in order to connect to the whole, then it's a part of. We've shifted how we see the how it sits together. That's at least how it occurs to me.
Yeah, totally. So the hidden influence of the creative is at play. So growth is on the horizon and ready to take manifestation. The underlying cause of split apart, oh my days, or a period, regeneration must now be given concrete form in the visible world, regardless of the challenges.
Mm,
Damn! Wow, right? That's
love it.
happening. That's what's happening.
Determination suggests that a breakthrough in thinking can eliminate any walls to your forward progress.
Right, this determination suggests that a breakthrough in thinking, so change the way you think, and it will eliminate the blockages to the progress, basically.
So, it's very powerful.
Very powerful. I love this next sentence. I just think we see an image of looking at an obstacle and discrediting it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
Right.
And
Okay. So
also just
that
that word
means
is
that
beautiful.
we see obstacles and we discredit them.
Them. Yeah.
Is that, and we see obstacles in the world and we discredit them. We reject them
Like,
and
and
we
even like
push
you were
them
saying with
away.
the river,
Yeah.
you see, you're only seeing a little, that's only one little part. So, yeah, move along.
Right. It's part of. It's not the whole.
Look, exactly. And I think this is such a big game changer for all of us in this time because I think, like we said at the beginning now, it's so easy to rely on the external world. But now it's asking for the shift, and the shift is do not rely on the external world, basically.
So the title of this hexagram is "Untangle the Knots and Soften the Glare." Now,
Yes.
to
Now,
soften the glare means to
makes sense.
soften how you see.
How you see,
How
yes.
you see, soften your glare, because it can become so acute. It can be looking for problems, looking for looking for
Problem.
issues, and it's saying, the master said, "Untangle the knots and soften the glare." I find that very powerful.
Yeah. Also, I think the other part as well is like when you're only seeing one side of it, you're only seeing one of the challenges, one of the things. But the bigger picture, I guess, is also the reason why this is happening. So this new world can emerge and be brought forth. So yeah, that's another.
So look, I'm mindful of time,
Okay.
because it's a very long hexagram, right?
Yeah.
You can see it
Okay.
goes on. So we can give the listeners um,
The hexagram.
an example. We can give them the link, right?
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, I can put
I'm
that in
just
there.
seeing if there's anything else. So I'm just reading down because every hexagram has changing lines. Okay, and the
Yes.
changing lines means how it's moving. Um, so it goes on to
Yeah.
say that one of the central changing line is hexagram line 4, and it goes on to say that some sort of negativity or punishment has the effect of traumatizing one, but the situation can become one of enlightenment if you allow it.
Mm. Yeah.
So the future can traumatize us, or it
Yeah.
can become a source of enlightenment.
Yeah. 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 Yep. I
And
think
what
that
we're afraid
applies
of, everything
now.
that's happening.
Exactly.
So we're changing how we see it.
Yes. Softening the glare. I like this sentence in the first part, if I can just read it as well. Determination can be recognized in the eyes. Oof. There's no need to approach life with a wrinkled brow or a sense that life is fighting you. Life has been committed to your success since the day you were born. Any challenges you face might actually be transforming your thinking. Yeah. I mean, this is the opportunity, and I feel like what you said about the enlightenment is like it's an opportunity for all of us to move through this so that we can actually remember that this is here for our success, all of it. you know, all of these challenges.
I mean, can you see this is
Wow.
such a juicy answer? It's so
Yes,
juicy.
so juicy.
It's so true. It's
So
so we recognize it, and I recognize it in here, in my being.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it makes me like energized, like whoa, you know.
It energize. That's right. Very much so. And there's that recognition, right? It's something we already know, but we're not present to it.
Yes, and I think because it's the words that are used as well, it just connects some other dots as well. I love this.
Um,
And then just here at the end, a breakthrough in thinking can transform a closed door into an open door. And also, if I think about that with regards to all the levels of control that is trying to come through, so many of us I think are going to be breaking through those doors, like
it's beautiful.
yeah,
It really is. And I guess I'm present to that. It's easy to focus on the
yeah,
negative, and it's easy for
yes,
us to point and judge and
yes,
do all of that. And that's, for me, that's stuck in the polarized views of what I like and don't like, good, bad, like, don't like. We're still stuck
yeah,
in that sort of duality of one or the
yeah,
other,
totally,
as opposed to realizing that you're looking through a lens.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And in order to
and
transform, we need to step out of that lens.
yes, that's exactly. And there is a transformation, and also this is so powerful. Like part of this transformation and this shift we're going through is this,
Hmm.
and because it's not going to happen unless this happens, unless we start to open those doors by
Hmm.
changing the way we are seeing things. And what I find so fascinating that I feel like things that keep reminding me recently, like, yeah, everything starts in the mind. Like, everything starts here. But also, obviously, we've been conditioned, and this is why the news and everything is trying to grab our attention constantly, so that we then again
Hmm.
create, and the power of our creation. Yeah,
Um,
amazing.
the chaos created from
Yeah.
the misunderstandings in your relationship with life will dissipate when you untangle your beliefs and soften your glare. A breakthrough is achieved by becoming open. You can observe how events are teaching you about achieving this powerful peacefulness.
Oof.
Um, when you transform the wasted energy of defensiveness into an inner shifting of openness, you will discover wellness, balance, and success in all you do.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I think this is the thing. Like with all the stuff that happens in the world, it's very easy to get defensive and feel attacked, and we're just so caught up in the story of what's happening, which is also very real reality for some people in the world. Then, yeah, it's so easy to just get lost in that.
Very
You
much
know.
so.
And what was the last bit there? That you soften the glare.
If you soften the glare, a breakthrough is achieved by becoming open. You can observe how events are teaching you about achieving this powerful peacefulness.
Yes, the powerful peacefulness. This, this is what I think is huge. It's like, how do we bring peace into the world? We have to embody it, and
Powerful
and
peacefulness.
And there's been so much online with like shaming about
Mm.
people who will be in that state of peacefulness. You know what I mean? But it's just
Yeah.
like we need this.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
amazing.
we could not have asked for a better,
Reading.
more helpful,
Yes.
more powerful answer that resonated with our inner truth. And that's it. I mean,
Mm,
the people listening today, this is it.
this is
This is
it.
this is the work. This is
Yeah.
how it works.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's a very good one. Determination. And I just wanted to say that topic as well because I heard this like a year ago. You're going to need determination and patience, I think.
Hmm.
And then I was thinking about determination, like what does that? Well, of course, because it's just going to keep unraveling. The split is going to keep continuing, and it's like how do you maintain that determination to make it through?
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
yeah, amazing. Thank you. It's
I
so
can't
good.
believe we got such a perfect reading. I mean, I can, but I didn't think doing it live, I wasn't sure.
Yeah. I know when you said it might not work, I was like, let's see, let's see.
Who knows?
Exactly.
So that's so I'm going to have a read of that.
Yeah,
And you know, as I said, Cafe au Sol I think is the best one for
yeah,
people to check out, but there's lots of good other ones as well.
yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate this and thank you for your time. You're
My
also
pleasure.
creating all your own online spaces and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if you want to share a bit because I know you've been changing.
We can talk about it another time.
Okay, but where can we find you?
Awakepatterns.com is my
Yeah,
website where we help map out people's hidden cognitive, emotional, and behavioral patterns. It's 3 questionnaires, 3 sessions, and I write a report mapping out all your key issues. So that's Awake Patterns, and you can find me on Instagram at Tommy Van Bean.
that's the one. Awesome. Bless you. Thank you so much.
No problem. See you soon.